Over the Top's Music Spotlight.
We're tuned to KIQQ. I'm Francesca Kuch, and we're going over the top with Laura Branigan. She's a multi-talented person. Not only does she sing, but she also acts, and that's what I'm really interested to see you act in this new movie, co-starring Ruth Gordon.
Yeah, that's right. It's called Mugsy's Girls, and it should be out in September. It's a real funny film. She was just what an incredible experience to work with. She's a legend, and as everyone knows. And a wonderful learning experience for me. A great first film. It's funny too.
Well, you studied acting initially in
That's right.
New York.
Right after high school, I went to the Academy of Dramatic Arts.
But you started singing backup vocals for
Leonard
a band.
Cohen.
Yeah. And that's
my voice led me here to KIQQ.
And all over the world. Why did you decide to pursue singing versus acting? Is it just something that happened?
I started off right after acting school, hitting the streets, knocking on doors, and basically auditioning for musicals because I did realize I had a voice and I wanted to use it. Then, as I say, my first paying job was touring Europe with Leonard Cohen, and that got me to thinking about singing. And I came back and got myself a manager and started auditioning for record companies. And here I am with Atlantic Records.
Yeah, and the buzz around the street started happening, and you were signed, and Branigan came out, and then we had Branigan 2, and now Self-Control, which is your third LP, and it's just incredible to me how fast time has gone.
I know.
It doesn't seem like all that time has, taken place and we have these three wonderful albums, and hit after hit. Of course, we've had Gloria Solitaire, and How Am I Supposed to Live Without You?
Yeah.
And now the title track, Self-Control from the album. When you look at the progression you've taken with all of your albums, how do you see a change?
I feel that this album, Self-Control, really lives up to the title in terms of, I knew where I was. When you first start out, the first album and you're brand new, the first album is always a little, you're still feeling your way out. I didn't really know what my style was. All I know is that I had a lot of emotion that I wanted to let out through my voice, and I had a big voice, and in fact that was part of the reason why it was hard for me to get a record contract at first, because I went through almost every record company, and they all said, well, you don't sound like anyone, and I didn't fit in anywhere, so I really had to develop my own style, and I think that this one shows it the most. I really had, and I've learned a lot. I've grown as an artist, and I really did. I know what I'm doing now, for sure.
I read someplace that when you first went in to make Branigan, you had never had any vocal training.
No, I hadn't.
And then you decided that you were going to...
Well, that summer, it was the summer of '82 when Gloria came out, and I had to take her around to all the dance clubs all over the country.
You did that yourself?
Yeah, and what I would do is sing to tracks, and the first show would be about 1 in the morning, the second show would be about 4. I mean, it was really a grueling time in my life, but it was the birth of a great gal, Gloria, and it was just so hard for me to keep up my voice, singing more than I'd ever sung before. And I didn't really, the reason I didn't take singing lessons before was because I didn't want it to take the personality out of my voice. And so I would suggest to young singers that they don't take it until they really need to, but to understand basically the method of support. And that's
for stamina.
Stamina. I have a great singing teacher now, Carlo Manati, and he's in New York, and he just has done wonders with my understanding of my voice and the ability to hold on, to notes and breathing and control is the most important thing.
Because your personality in your voice has not really changed so much. I mean, we still hear the same voice.
Exactly.
In the previous albums, but maybe for control purposes and all of that.
Oh, yeah, you have to, because the vocal cords are just two little tiny rubber band-like pieces of tissue in the back of your throat. They're not steel strings on a guitar that you can
Wang
pull
away.
Wang away.
When you first discovered you had this wonderful voice, because you said it is strong. It is very strong. Did it surprise you? I mean, how did you discover this voice of yours?
My mother always said, Laura, don't you want to be a singer? And
Why? Because you were singing around the house? Or?
I'd sing to myself. I was very, very shy, so I never
belted it out.
Never dreamt about singing in front of anyone. It was hard to speak in front of anyone. It's hard to raise my hand in class. So my music teacher in high school pushed me into auditioning for a musical, and I got the lead. And it was a tremendous transition in myself, because it was the first time I had ever felt completely comfortable and in control. And all of a sudden, when I was up there opening night, I knew I had the audience, and I knew that it was a release of all this emotion that I had kept pent up inside, and it was like finally I found my way to express it.
A lot of people before the record sleeve came out thought you were black.
Yep.
Did that surprise you? Or did you always know that you sounded a little bit...
I didn't know it, no. I didn't really think about it. I can see what they mean, in a way. I was compared to Donna Summer a lot in the beginning. And with flattery to me, because I think she's a great artist. But they did go around asking for her record.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't really aware of it until it was brought to my attention.
Okay, well, let's listen to How Am I Supposed to Live Without You, which, of course, is off of the Branigan 2 LP. I'm Francesca Capucci, taking you over the top with our music spotlight, Laura Branigan, on KIQQ. 100 FM KIQQ, I'm Francesca Capucci, and tonight our music spotlight shines on Laura Branigan on Over the Top. How do you choose your material? What do you look for in a song?
I look for, of course, what is happening today in terms of the way I see it, and or tomorrow. And also I look for emotion in my songs. They all have to have a real thrust of emotion, because that's the real force behind my singing.
Mm-hmm. And you have consistently chosen Jack White as your producer.
Mm-hmm.
How did you meet Jack?
I met Jack through Doug Morris, who's the president of Atlantic Records. And he put me together with him, and Jack brought me Gloria, because Jack is German, Jack the German, and he came over. He knew a lot of the songs that were happening over in Europe, and brought me Gloria and asked me what I thought, and I thought it had great potential, but that it was too European sounding if we gave it the American kick, which we did in the studio, and I really, there she went.
And that created this consistent relationship.
Yeah, well, I say, if it works so well the first time, might as well keep going.
Mm-hmm. What else do you want to do in your career? You achieved so much success so quickly.
It may seem quick to you.
Of course, there are never any overnight successes.
Yeah.
There are
It's
years that we have,
work. And it's also a lot of planning. I planned every move. I've really thought about it. I want to stay around and sing for a long, long time. I want to touch people's hearts all over the world, and I want to act. I really want to do some great dramatic parts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm up for some films right now, which I won't say until I get them.
That's great, and of course we'll be able to see you in September with Ruth Gordon in the Mugsy Girls.
That's right.
Which is interesting.
And I should be playing the Greek here in the fall.
Uh-huh.
So.
But do you consider your career sort of like a strategic game that you have to very carefully
Yes.
play?
Very much so. It's very important to know what every move is. You're building a house. You have to have the foundation. You can't just start putting up the plywood before you have... because a lot of people, I think, jump into things without thinking about the future. And, I want longevity in my career. I don't want to be here and gone. And I think as a talent I have it, and it's just a matter of planning correctly.
But doesn't it seem interesting to you one day nobody knew who you were, and now you're on the Johnny Carson show?
Sure. I can't believe it myself. I'm still amazed when I hear, I just did my video for Self-Control with William Friedkin. who is was the director for French Connection, Boys in the Band, Exorcist, just one of the great American directors. He said to me, "Oh yeah, I was talking to some people the other night, and I mentioned my project with you, and they said, oh, we have all her albums," and it still shocks me that people,
It's nice.
it's hard to connect.
Yeah, but it's exhilarating.
It
right?
is. It sure is.
And then, of course, comes the complexities of hiring a manager and
Mm-hmm.
publicist and
Yeah.
this and the other. So your life becomes very, very complicated.
It does. I have a great manager, and we've worked it out now so that she consults me on everything, except that you come to a point where you're so busy you really can't have those business things thrown in your lap. It's just too much. So you have to hire people to do things for you.
What happens to your personal life?
It's a little hard right now because I'm traveling so much. But now's the time, and I have to really take advantage of it. I worked hard for it, and I'm not going to let it go by.
Of course, the album that she's just released is Self-Control. So you really have to go out and promote it.
Yes.
Like you did Gloria the first time.
That's right. I'm leaving for Europe on Tuesday to do a whole European promotion tour. I'll be in, I start out in Germany, and I go to Italy and France and England, Holland.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's great. I just wish I didn't have to work so much when I was there.
So you could relax.
I relax and shop.
Oh, yeah. That's what I like
And
to
go
do.
eat pasta.
Then you're going to, I assume, tour.
That's right. I'll be doing a tour this summer.
And then you'll be here in the fall.
And I'll be here in the fall.
My gosh, so you're going to be really busy.
Yeah.
And then, hopefully, as you mentioned earlier, a movie deal.
Mm-hmm. That should come right after that.
Oh, gosh, you are going to be busy.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for taking the time to stop by and say
thank you,
hi.
Francesca.
And we're going to continue to play your music. Thank you for all of the wonderful hits. And it'll be fun to see you in the movie with Ruth Gordon. It's called Mugsy Girls. We'll look forward to that in September.
And I love KIQQ.
We love you, too.
Thanks.
Thank you. My guest has been Laura Branigan. Her new single and album both are entitled Self-Control. I'm Francesca Capucci, taking you over the top. 100 FM KIQQ, the title track from Laura Branigan's album Self-Control. Next, over-the-top music notes with information on the Jacksons tour.